Joy Taylor at one point was partnered with Taylor Rooks on a podcast. I think they called it Too Personal. They had a little sexy picture. Yeah, these two there. Too Personal. They both look naked, half naked on there. I think it lasted one episode, or maybe it lasted longer than that, but it didn't last long. Joy Taylor has since gone on to infamy being named in that lawsuit as it relates to Fox Sports and the hairstylist and all that. The shine's come off Joy Taylor. She's the butt of jokes because of her allegedly sleeping with the executive, her allegedly sleeping with Emmanuel Acho. Well, now Taylor Rooks, who is a NBA sideline reporter for TNT, is now going to be the studio host for Amazon's NBA broadcast. There's rumors that I guess Super Bowl week she went out with CeeDee Lamb, the Cowboys wide receiver, and rumors that she went out with Joe Burrow, the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals. What do we make of this other than, I will say this, I do think if I were putting together top 5 smoke shows in sports media, she'd have a case for number 1. She's strong. But I just don't know. And look, she doesn't cover the NFL. So if she, as far as I know, I don't think she covers the NFL. She wants to date NFL players, I guess. But I don't know if this is a great look for sideline reporters or women in sports media. But it is pretty commonplace. I think Erin Andrews is married to an NHL player, and she never covered the NHL or a former NHL player. And the athletes are going to date somebody, and they got these beautiful women that stand on the sidelines, looking like a piece of candy, a big Snickers bar, or I don't know, a Payday. Pretty tempting. What do we think here of Taylor Rooks? Is she just would it be high class Joy Taylor or more attractive Joy Taylor, or would you? I guess if I'm a sideline reporter, I'd rather be linked to Joe Burrow and CeeDee Lamb than Charlie Dixon and Emmanuel Acho.
Based on everything that's happened personally and what has been revealed the last month, they need to reprise that podcast. Seriously, they'd have a lot to talk about. I might even tune in for an episode or two. Here's the difference. It seemed like one in her private life was making moves based on power and influence. The other one seems to be doing it just for personal reasons and recreation. Okay? Now, and so there is a difference, okay, at least in my view. The other thing is, I'll say one thing about Taylor Rooks.
I like that difference. Hold up. I like that difference. Which one is more ethical or higher integrity? Doing it for power and influence or doing it for their personal life?
Taylor Rooks. And she's showing great versatility. Quarterback, receiver, black, white, offense, defense. She's like the Travis Hunter I'm dating. But now, I think it's unfair that all female reporters are painted with the brush that, they're all suspicious, they're all sleeping with men. I would bet that there's a group of female sideline reporters and journalists that probably hate this. They can never say it. They have to stay quiet. Mum has to be the word because let's face it, they all live in glass houses. And number 2, they don't want the blowback. But at the same time, I think that there is this distinction. She does not specifically cover the National Football League. Now, if she did, I think people would look at it a little bit differently. So I don't know, but that's a tough one. That is a tough one.
Here's obviously what Taylor Rooks is doing has more integrity. It's her personal life. She can date whoever she wants. She likes athletes. She's into sports. Makes sense. I got to sit here and think, hey, who's one of my favorite people in sports media who's now kind of exited sports media? But it's Samantha Ponder. She's married to Christian Ponder, who was a first-round pick, Vikings quarterback. And Samantha Ponder seems like a devout, devoted Christian. I love her values. not beating her up. So maybe I shouldn't beat up Taylor Rooks either. But Taylor Rooks' association and the kind of conversations that her and Joy Taylor engaged in briefly on that podcast and what they represented, that too personal, when you're presenting yourself the way that they did in that too personal advertisement, it's like an advertisement to athletes of like, hey, maybe I'll be in an NBA or NFL city near you. Look, I'm all dolled up. They're using, and maybe they should. I mean, look, we've put them into this competition. They're using their sexuality and sex appeal to get what they want. There's, Joy Taylor's approach is clearly far more wrong than Taylor Rooks's, how she's using and going about it, but all of it, because as men, particularly covering the NFL, NBA, back in the days when I was a boots on the ground journalist, it was so apparent how many of the female athletes or female media people were flirting with and or sleeping with the people they were covering. It was very apparent. But I used to halfway defend them by saying, like, man, let's say I covered women's tennis during the Anna Kournikova, is that her name?
Yeah.
And some of these other women, like, if I got to cover them and if I got to go in their locker room as they showered, came in and out of the shower, and if I were attractive enough to attract one of them, would I do it? Absolutely. Would they be saying, like, hey, Whitlock's a meat gazer in this women's tennis locker room? Yes, I would be.
Yeah, roast beef, huh? Anyway, jeez. Oh, God.
Yes, I would be. I'm just keeping it real because we would make fun of the women, and I'd be like, man, if we were in that position, we'd do the same thing.
I'm Jason. Look, if Taylor Rooks is dating recreationally, that's her prerogative. That's absolutely her choice. She's an adult. She should have that decision to make by herself. But let me just tell you this, and I know she's not naive. She has to be a little bit wise to this whole thing. She can't be looking for a long-term relationship. She knows what these guys do. She knows the whole world. She knows it's always funny when I read these stories from like some B-level celebrity or another celebrity that ends up marrying like a rapper. And then they write, oh, it's a terrible relationship. He cheated on me in every city on his tour. Right. What did you think you were getting into? How did you think it was going to really?
I'm going to, as it relates to Taylor Rooks, I think she can land the plane. I think she could get one of these athletes to marry her. She's got that kind of game. She's got the tools. She's got the assets. One of these NFL players. What did the philosopher Chris Rock once so wisely say? A man is only as faithful as their options. That's the point that I'm making. Yes, you can get to the wedding. Okay, how's the marriage? Because that's always the bigger question no one ever really looks at. Well, if you're marrying a guy or dating a guy who's into the whole party lifestyle of professional athletics, yeah. But if you're marrying a guy like Sam Ponder seems to have done, married another devout Christian, and there are some God Squad guys. Yeah. Taylor Rooks is probably a little too old for C.J. Stroud, but that if she wants to get married, she needs to be targeting, one of these guys that, is putting their faith first. And she's got a shot, but I'm not sure, she kind of dresses halfway naked a lot of times, so I'm not sure if she's looking for the guy that's going to take her to church on Sundays. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.